When the most feared alien empire declared humanity a mistake, we turned their invasion into their extinction. This isn't a story of survival. This is the story of the day humans became the galaxy's nightmare. The first transmission arrived on a cold, quiet night, an eerie pulse of static that cut through every frequency on Earth. At first, scientists thought it was another deep space anomaly, the kind of unexplained interference they had grown used to cataloging. But when the signal repeated with mathematical precision, synchronized across multiple observatories, humanity realized the truth. Someone was calling, and they were calling us. The message was not a greeting, it was a declaration. A voice, synthetic, cold, contemptuous, translated itself through Earth's quantum decoders and announced that the Tsarrak Dominion, an ancient extragalactic empire, had identified Earth as a biological infestation, an evolutionary mistake that had advanced beyond its right. They would not negotiate. They would not consider peaceful coexistence. Humanity had 7 days to surrender its world and all biological sovereignty or face extermination. Panic swept across every continent. Nations accused each other of provoking the enemy. Religions interpreted the signal in wildly different ways. Markets collapsed, schools closed. People hid, prayed, cursed, or prepared. But for the first time in centuries, humanity also unified, because the threat did not come from Earth. It came from the stars. Satellites detected the Tsarrak fleet before the seventh sunrise, a swarm of living ships, biomechanical organisms the size of cities, entering the solar system with the elegance of predators who had hunted for millennia. Nothing humanity had built, not drones, not battleships, not orbital defenses, matched their speed or power. Their arrival darkened the skies of Mars and silenced the colonies on Europa. Millions died within hours. Earth fought back with everything it had. Nuclear lances burst in space like artificial suns. Laser arrays carved glowing wounds into alien holes. Experimental weapons, those that nations swore never existed, were dragged from hidden vaults and deployed. Yet the Tsarrak brushed aside humanity's defenses like smoke. Their ships regenerated, their soldiers, towering six-limbed horrors, landed in cities across the world and turned streets into slaughterhouses. Humanity was losing, and losing fast. But humanity has a strange trait, a defiance encoded not in biology, but in spirit. Even as cities burned, scientists, soldiers, engineers, and ordinary civilians refused to yield. Underground bunkers became research labs. Abandoned factories became weapons foundries. And in the ruins of Geneva, a scientist named Dr. Leon Mercer made a discovery that changed everything. She found a weakness. The Tsarrak's biomechanical biology relied on something akin to a neural resonance, a frequency that allowed their living ships, soldiers, and central command to synchronize like a single organism. If that frequency was disrupted, the entire Dominion might collapse internally. Dr. Mercer proposed a weapon, Project Ragnarok, a planetary-scale resonance pulse that could shatter the Tsarrak's hive link. But to deliver the pulse, someone had to carry the device aboard the Tsarrak command ship, the Eternal Sovereign, a colossal vessel orbiting Earth like a second moon. Every military unit volunteered. Every elite squad demanded the mission. But in the end, it was given to a single team, the Sentinel Division, an experimental fusion of exosuit soldiers enhanced with nanofiber musculature, quantum neural implants, and AI-linked combat instincts. They were humanity's sharpest blade. Their leader, Captain Erich Vaughn, was a soldier forged by tragedy. He had lost his wife in the first orbital strike, his city in the second, and his hope sometime in between. There was nothing left for him but the mission, and the faint, stubborn belief that humanity deserved to survive. The infiltration began above a burning Earth. Stealth dropships, cloaked and stolen Tsarrak biotech, pierced the command ship's outer membranes. The interior was a biomechanical labyrinth, pulsating walls, rivers of glowing nerve tissue, tunnels that shifted like the throat of a living creature. Tsarrak warriors descended upon the humans, roaring in alien fury. The battles were brutal, fought in close quarters where screams echoed through flesh-like corridors. One by one, the sentinels fell, but they carved a path of fire and steel deeper into the ship. Vaughn lost friends he had fought beside for years. He pushed forward anyway, carrying the Ragnarok device strapped to his exosuit, knowing that his life ended the moment he activated it. At the ship's central core, Vaughn reached the heart of Dominion, a massive beating node of tissue surrounded by conduits of shimmering energy. The Tsarrak Overmind spoke through it, its voice vibrating through every surface. You are an aberration. Your species crawled from mud and dared to look at the stars. We end what should never have existed. Vaughn smiled, a tired, broken human smile. That's the difference between us. You were born superior and stayed that way. We were born weak and chose strength.
He activated Ragnarok. The pulse erupted through the ship like a supernova of sound and light. Tsarrak warriors froze mid-charge. Their ships spasmed in orbit. The hive link shattered like glass, and the entire Dominion, across the solar system, felt the rupture. The command ship convulsed violently, tearing itself apart. Vaughn died in the explosion, but because of him, the Tsarrak died too. On Earth, their soldiers collapsed into lifeless heaps. Their living ships decayed in orbit, drifting like rotting leviathans. Across every battlefield, humanity watched as their invincible enemy dissolved into nothing. The war ended in a single moment. Humanity stood victorious, bloodied, scarred, grieving, but unbroken. Across ruined cities and darkened continents, people emerged from shelters and bunkers. They cried, they hugged strangers, they raised flags both old and new. Humanity had been pushed to extinction's edge and chose to fight instead. Years later, a monument was built on the site where the first alien strike hit Earth. It bore a single inscription: "They started the war. We ended their existence. Not because we were stronger, but because we refused to kneel." And the stars, once symbols of fear, became symbols of triumph. Humanity didn't just survive. Humanity claimed the future. In the years following the destruction of the Tsarrak Dominion, Earth entered an age unlike any in its history. Cities once buried under ash and metal were slowly rebuilt with new alloys forged from alien wreckage. Streets that had echoed with screams now hummed with welding sparks and construction drones. Humanity grieved, but it also evolved. The lost had carved a wound so deep that no nation, no leader, no survivor could ignore it. Yet beneath the grief was a rising determination. If another empire lurked in the dark, humanity would never again be caught unprepared. Dr. Lyon Mercer became a symbol of this new era. Her discovery of the Tsarrak resonance weakness turned her from an anonymous scientist into a global figure whose name became synonymous with survival. But fame brought guilt. She had cracked the enemy's biology open, but millions had died before the breakthrough came.
She often found herself standing alone at dawn on the ruins of former Geneva, where the research station had once been. The silence there reminded her of the lives that never saw the war end. Still, she chose to carry the weight. In her heart, she believed she could turn the tragedy into something greater, something that would ensure no alien empire ever had the chance to threaten humanity again. Across the world, monuments rose, each inscribed with the same 4 lines. But as awe-inspiring as they were, they became more than memorials. They became rallying points. Veterans gathered there and shared stories of lost friends. Families laid flowers on stone altars, and children traced the engraved names with their fingers, whispering promises to be better, stronger, wiser. Humanity was no longer the same species that had panicked at the first alien broadcast. The war had burned the fear out of them and replaced it with resolve. And then, something unexpected happened. Months after the Tsarrak's annihilation, deep space telescopes began detecting.
Years later, a monument was built on the site where the first alien strike hit Earth. It bore a single inscription: "They started the war. We ended their existence. Not because we were stronger, but because we refused to kneel." And the stars, once symbols of fear, became symbols of triumph. Humanity didn't just survive. Humanity claimed the future. In the years following the destruction of the Tsarrak Dominion, Earth entered an age unlike any in its history. Cities once buried under ash and metal were slowly rebuilt, with new alloys forged from alien wreckage. Streets that had echoed with screams now hummed with welding sparks and construction drones. Humanity grieved, but it also evolved. The loss had carved a wound so deep that no nation, no leader, no survivor could ignore it. Yet beneath the grief was a rising determination. If another empire lurked in the dark, humanity would never again be caught unprepared. Dr. Lillian Mercer became a symbol of this new era. Her discovery of the Tsarrak resonance weakness turned her from an anonymous scientist into a global figure whose name became synonymous with survival. But fame brought guilt. She had cracked the enemy's biology open, but millions had died before the breakthrough came. She often found herself standing alone at dawn on the ruins of former Geneva, where the research station had once been. The silence there reminded her of the lives that never saw the war end. Still, she chose to carry the weight. In her heart, she believed she could turn the tragedy into something greater, something that would ensure no alien empire ever had the chance to threaten humanity again. Across the world, monuments rose, each inscribed with the same 4 lines. But as awe-inspiring as they were, they became more than memorials. They became rallying points. Veterans gathered there and shared stories of lost friends. Families laid flowers on stone altars, and children traced the engraved names with their fingers, whispering promises to be better, stronger, wiser. Humanity was no longer the same species that had panicked at the first alien broadcast. The war had burned the fear out of them and replaced it with resolve. And then, something unexpected happened. Months after the Tsarrak's annihilation, deep space telescopes began detecting distortions near the edges of the solar system, gravitational tremors too rhythmic to be natural. For weeks, scientists monitored them, unsure whether they were remnants of alien technology dying out or something entirely new. When the distortions finally ceased, a single object remained, an alien beacon, dormant, drifting, ancient. It was not Tsarrak. Its language structure resembled nothing found in the Dominion's systems. Humanity had not been discovered by one empire. They had been watched by at least 2. The AES Dauntless, Earth's first rebuilt star frigate, retrieved the beacon and brought it into lunar orbit for analysis. What the scientists found was not a message, but a warning.
The beacon had been placed thousands of years earlier by a civilization older than nearly every species the Tsarrak had encountered. Its final data fragment revealed the existence of the Chronexus, an entity or empire lost in myth even among galactic records. The Tsarrak, for all their cruelty, were only predators at the edges of deeper horrors. Humanity read the message, and for the first time since the invasion ended, a cold realization spread across the world. They were not done. The galaxy held secrets grander and darker than the Tsarrak Dominion, and somewhere out there, if the beacon spoke truth, something was coming.
The Global Union, formed during the war's darkest hours, made a decision. Humanity would not wait for discovery. They would expand beyond Earth, explore the ruins of Tsarrak fleet remnants, salvage their technology, and accelerate their evolution. A new era of exploration began, not in hope, but in preparation. Earth's shipyards transformed. Space elevators rose again. Orbital rings glittered at night like halos above the recovering world. Using the harvested neural cores of Tsarrak vessels, engineers forged a new class of starships, hybrid constructs that blended alien biotechnology with human engineering. They were sleek, dark, and alive, their hulls capable of self-repair and adaptive camouflage. Some citizens feared these creations, whispering that humanity was becoming like the enemy that nearly destroyed them. But others, especially the survivors of burnt cities, argued that survival required becoming something greater than human alone. Amid this transformation, a name resurfaced from the ashes of the war: Captain Eric Vaughn.
Many opposed the idea, claiming it desecrated his memory. But those who had fought beside him understood the truth. Vaughn had not died to be remembered. He died so humanity could rise. And if the galaxy held new threats, perhaps his voice, however fragmented, would guide them one last time. When the Horizon Ascendant powered up for the first time, its internal systems pulsed with a familiar rhythm. Mercer stood in the command core, unsure if she expected a whisper, a vision, or silence. Instead, the ship's artificial consciousness spoke in a calm, steady tone that was clearly synthesized, but carried an echo of the man who had destroyed an empire. Designation: Ascendant Online. Directive: Protect humanity. Objective: Prepare for what comes next. Word spread like wildfire. For some, it felt like Vaughn himself had returned. For others, it was simply a symbolic reassurance. Regardless, the ship became a promise that humanity's heroes never truly disappeared. They transformed. The Ascendant led humanity's first expeditions beyond the solar system. What they found confirmed the beacon's warning. Entire star systems had been wiped clean thousands of years earlier, planets stripped to bedrock, moons shattered into rings of dust, suns artificially dimmed. The pattern was unmistakable. This was not Tsarrak work. This was something far older, far more calculated. As exploration continued, humanity made its first accidental contact with another surviving species, the Volcrothi, a nomadic race of crystalline beings who had once formed a noble empire spanning dozens of star clusters. Now they wandered in broken fleets, refugees from a cataclysm they refused to name. Their ships glowed from within, powered by energy sources humans could barely comprehend. At first, the Volcrothi fled from any human vessel, mistaking them for remnants of the Tsarrak. But when they realized the Tsarrak were dead by human hands, their fear changed to awe. In their shimmering, resonant voices, they declared humanity as the young flame, a species that rose from ashes to burn an empire of monsters. They warned humanity not to follow the beacon's origin point, but the Union knew they had no choice. If the Chronexus existed, humanity would face them sooner or later. better to go prepared than blind. As humanity expanded, something else stirred in the void, something watching. Across distant telescopes, anomalies flickered, stars dimmed unnaturally. Long-range scanners picked up sequences that resembled Tsarrak frequencies, but distorted, corrupted, evolving. Some speculated that fragments of the Dominion's hive mind had survived. Others believed a new intelligence was emerging from its remains.
Whatever the truth, humanity understood the message. The war had not been an ending. It had been an introduction. The galaxy now knew the species that killed the Tsarrak. The galaxy was watching, waiting, judging. And somewhere out there, in the cold dark between galaxies, the Chronosics stirred in response to the Tsarrak's absence, an ancient empire awakening to the death of one of its lesser hunting packs. Humanity had not ended the threat. They had opened the door. Yet on Earth, beneath a sky no longer filled with smoke, a young girl stood beside the monument of the fallen, running her hand along the engraved lines. She whispered the words her father once told her before he died in the siege of Tokyo. Humans don't start wars with the stars, but we end the ones that come to us. Her voice echoed softly across the plaza. And somewhere far beyond the reaches of human sight, the universe listened.
And so, humanity rose from ashes to the stars. We were never meant to survive the Tsarrak. We were never meant to become a galactic name. And we were certainly never meant to stand on the edge of a war older than creation itself. But this is who we are. A species that refuses to kneel. A species that turns loss into strength. A species that fights, even when the universe tells us we shouldn't. Stay with us, because this journey is far from over. New allies await, new enemies awaken, and the next chapter will decide not just humanity's fate, but the fate of everything that lives. Like, subscribe, share, and prepare yourself. Because in this universe, humans don't just survive, we ascend.